So, the Astroworld Festival shit show. 8 people dead, including a 14-year-old and a 16-year-old, and up to 300 people injured, some of them very seriously injured. Who is to blame? Some people are saying the event coordinators, some people are saying security, and some people are saying the performer himself. So let's look at the performer for a second, okay? Because he's an interesting one. So his name is Travis Scott, although that is just a stage name. It's a combination of his favorite uncle's name and one of his idols. And he was actually born, I know, I'm not going to say this right, Jacques Berman Webster? Okay, it's Jaques, but I don't know how he pronounced it. But if he lived in France, that would be Jacques, yeah? So, whatever, I don't know how he pronounced it. But either way, he was born and raised in Houston, Texas. He graduated high school and went on to university, but he left in his second year to pursue music. And that's not surprising because he actually comes from a long line of musicians in his family, most of them jazz. So he goes on and he pursues his music and he's doing fairly well, but he really blows up with his #1 single, which was called Sicko Mode, and it was from his Astroworld album. Do people still say album? Because we don't have albums anymore. Do you still call it an album even though it's like a CD? I guess. So he has had a history of issues when it comes to performing. He has actually been arrested several times for inciting riots, and in one instance had to do particularly with minors. So he likes to get the crowd going, right? But he does it in this way that gets people like amped up, not like in a festive way, but like in a rage kind of. And actually he calls it raging. Now, I have to tell you that, I was in the concert scene, in the 90s. That was like my college years. So we mosh pitted. Can you say mosh pitted? All the time. Okay. It was the thing back then. And I'm sure some people got hurt. I mean, anytime you put a crowd of people together and, they're jumping about, there is a potential for injury. But I don't ever remember the atmosphere being almost angry. People were they were having a great time. The mosh pit was a way to, let go of pent up energy, for young people to just get out there and just let go of all that energy that they had built up. I feel like for him to even call what was going on at his concert a mosh pit is wrong, because that's not what it was. One of his lyrics to one of his songs actually says, "If nobody gets injured, it's not a mosh pit." Sir, you're incorrect. That is not at all what that kind of atmosphere is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about, just vibing with people and having a good time. He calls it raging and actually tries to incite people to, jump barriers and friggin' jump off balconies. I mean, he had a fan years ago, one of his events, actually jump from like a balcony type thing and become partially paralyzed. And this was at his insistence, like, jump, 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 he really tries to encourage people to just kind of lose control. And you feel that when you have this many people, I mean, sold out show. I think there may have actually been more people there than was supposed to be there. And why the hell not? He tells you to just jump the barriers anyway. Like, forget security. Don't listen to any authority. Just like do whatever the hell you want. He had massive, massive numbers of people that he was telling to rage. And here they were pushing at each other, stomping on each other, didn't care if people were falling down, didn't care, what was happening to the person next to them. And the whole time, this man is continuing his show and continuing to sing while people are being like carried out by paramedics. And that's the ones that the paramedics could actually get to, because some of them they just couldn't. At some point, his own fans are chanting to stop the show. And that was among all kinds of other people screaming help. Now, of course, as he's encouraging everybody to do all of this, he's like way up in the air, safe as can be on his little podium thing where like literally nobody, could reach him. And he's just way up there, completely safe, and encouraging everybody else to get hurt. As this person literally becomes unconscious right in front of him, you can see him in the video, like looking down at the person. He says and acknowledges that this person is unconscious, and then he like bizarrely stares at him while he continues to sing. Like actually just stares at him and continues to sing. It was like the creepiest, weirdest thing to watch. So needless to say, he did come out and it wasn't actually like an apology, but he kind of made a video just saying like he didn't expect it to happen or, whatever. And he has offered to pay for funeral expenses and whatnot. And his girlfriend and child's mother, Kylie Jenner, has gone on record as saying that he did not realize what was going on. He did not realize that people were getting hurt. He may not have realized how many people were getting hurt, but you did realize something was happening because you're on video saying the guy's unconscious, and then you serenaded him and sang to him or at him or over him. So, it's interesting. It's really interesting because on one hand, this man does give some of his profit to an organization that encourages kids to stay in school and whatnot. But on the other hand, he encourages young people to rage and lose control and, forget authority, like just bypass them. Don't worry about it. Do what you want. So he's an interesting character. I don't know. I don't know what was going through his head. But he has a pattern of this. And it's alarming that anybody even let their 14-year-old or the 16-year-old, I believe, was only there with friends. I don't know who the 14-year-old was there with. But with his history of his behavior and the loss of control of the crowd and at all his past events, I don't know why you would let your teenager go to an event like this unless either A, the parents just, really didn't know much about it, or I don't know. It's sad. It's really, really sad. And, really the saddest part of all of this, because that's obviously all very sad, but the saddest part about all of this is, so many people are defending him. And that's not okay. It's not okay to defend him because as a performer that is so popular among young people, it's very popular among young people. Fortnite even has like an avatar or whatever young people call that of him, although they actually took it down, I believe, yesterday. But, he's the face of all kinds of brands, PlayStation, Nike, McDonald's at one point, young people really look up to him or idolize him. And I feel like he has a responsibility. And I know as a society, we talk about this all the time, how much responsibility do celebrities have or should have for the way that they act. I think more responsibility than telling young people to rage. I mean, as an adult, isn't it our job to help them learn coping mechanisms and how to regulate their emotions, not encourage them to lose control and to rage to the point that people are injured and dying? Come on, like that's not okay. I think he has some serious liability in this situation, and I'm sure lots of other people do too. Event staff, security. I think there was like 500 officers, I believe, don't quote me, 500 and something, but realistically, with the kind of numbers that this performer draws and the fact that he allows people in regardless, even if they're full to the max, he's like, screw it, jump the barriers, come on in, do what you want. Like, if you can fit in here, knock some people over, just, get in here. There should have been adequate security. I mean, wall to wall security. So I don't know. That's my thought. My thought is this man needs to get it together because you have a history of this reckless behavior with all of your events. And this was just kind of the icing on the cake because, yes, he's been arrested, but he always kind of gets off scot-free with like a fine for continuously inciting violence. So all of those were stepping stones leading up to this one big shit show. I mean, come on. We can't accept this behavior. We can't allow people to act so recklessly, and especially when young people are involved. We just have to say it's not acceptable. So tell me what you think. Tell me if you think that he is to blame at all. If he's not to blame and he's just doing his, performer thing, and everybody surrounding him in charge of the event are the ones solely responsible, or if the crowd was responsible for, acting how they acted. So let me know what your thoughts are on this. And, we're praying for the victims and their families. So that's it. Have a great day. Bye.